Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well. This is Rudy. Hey, I wanted to pick up on this Atlas Shrugged versus Zeitgeist topic, and my video, I had to end it, the last one, because I got to stop at 15 minutes, and I didn't feel like I got a chance to do that topic justice. So let's start up again. So Atlas Shrugged Part 1 just was released yesterday on April the 15th. I saw it today on April the 16th. And I had to drive like 45 minutes. It's not a very popular movie. You have to really seek it out. And the movie theater wasn't very crowded. It goes over most people's heads. And most people are going to think that it's glorification of big business. And they aren't going to understand the deeper meanings of the movie and of the book. And I've said this before, and I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I've read every single thing that Ayn Rand has ever written. I am a great admirer of Ayn Rand. Yes, I know she is an atheist. I've even been to a few objectivist meetings, and I can't get along with them because they don't acknowledge God. The guy that was running the meeting, the leader, I tried to go to a few of their meetings. They have meetup groups, and they'll advertise, objectivist. If you lock up Ayn Rand, come to my meeting. He said, "Who created God?" And I said, God is I am that I am. He's the Alpha and the Omega. He created space and time, so he's outside of space and time. He's also inside of space and time. He's everything and everywhere. And he couldn't comprehend the answer. So anyway, they used terms like Sky Daddy this and Sky Daddy that, and they were mocking God. So I didn't get along with the objectivists. So don't assume that just because I say I admire the writings of Ayn Rand that I get along with objectivists, because I don't. Most of them I can't stand. But anyway, most people, especially those in the Zeitgeist movement who are, doofus hippies who want to be taken care of, will not like Zeitgeist. They will think that it's glorification of big business, and this is exactly the same attacks and criticism that Ayn Rand had to put up with after she wrote the book. And that the thing is that our system has failed us. See, when you watch me make this video, if you're a Zeitgeist person, you're going to think I'm trying to defend our current system. And I will defend capitalism, true capitalism, laissez-faire capitalism. The only three valid functions of government is a police force, a national defense, and a legal system. But it isn't capitalism that has failed us. You need to understand that. You're trying to fix something when you don't even understand the root cause. When I say I mean the Zeitgeist people. The root cause of the problem is the corruption of mankind and the fact that we've turned our back on godly principles. But see, Zeitgeist people will claim that capitalism is bad, big corporations are bad, they've taken advantage of everyone, and that we need to go to their system, which is complete and ultimate tyranny by the people who program the computers. And when they see a movie like when Zeitgeist people see a movie like Atlas Shrugged, it will totally go over their heads. They'll totally miss it. It'll be a knee-jerk reaction, and they'll think it's glorification of wealth and glorification of big business, and they'll think it's a very greedy movie. But see, I strongly believe in the biblical principle that if any human creates anything, like a new motor or new metal or any invention, that human is due all of the fruits of that invention. Now, do I think as a Christian that person should be able to donate to the poor and the needy? Yes, I do, but it will be as that person chooses to do so. It will be if it's charity from the heart, and as that person is a Christian, he will direct where the money goes and how it should be spent. But it should not be through the force of taxes or through the force of a gun. When you do it through force, it no longer is charity from the heart. It becomes thievery. And so, see, Atlas Shrugged is an atheistic-based system too, because objectivist is atheism, and Zeitgeist is atheist-based. So both systems are atheism-based, but Atlas Shrugged has more pieces of the puzzle put together than Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist is a complete, tyrannical, hippie, doofus, dumbed down. People are idiots, being taken care of. They're being manipulated by conditioning their environment. They're being manipulated by mood-altering drugs. The family is completely broken down. They're not even able to reproduce without approval from the state. It's a prisonless system, so you can't ever break the law because there are no laws. And if you ever do anything considered out of the norm, they will condition you by either conditioning your environment or separating you from the masses or mood-altering drugs. So Zeitgeist is a prisonless system. There is no laws. It's also atheism-based. It's cashless and thus jobless. In a Zeitgeist system, nobody works. There is no jobs. You never have to work. And that's why all these doofus hippie zombies that are being raised nowadays, these feminine men, love it because they get to be taken care of by the state and they don't have to take care of themselves. So feminine men who don't know how to take care of themselves love Zeitgeist. And also Zeitgeist believes there's no such thing as right and wrong. There's no such thing as evil and good. And so, the answer at the Zeitgeist movie, the very last one they just came out with, that Peter Joseph hippie guy, they threw their money at the bankers. So the bankers, the elitist, globalist bankers, love the Zeitgeist film. Because all the Zeitgeist people want to do to these bankers for raping and pillaging the wealth of the world and for being tyrannical and implementing all of the evil things they have done. And I could go into all of the evil stuff like chemtrails, the Federal Reserve, overtaxation. They've monopolized the media where they're trying to brainwash us through manipulation of the media. I believe they've implemented false flag attacks like 9/11. But for all of those crimes against humanity, you know what Zeitgeist wants to do to the globalist, elitist bankers who have done all of this? They want to go gather together and throw their money at the bankers. Throw the fiat money at the bankers, and they don't want to hold them accountable. Zeitgeist is completely without personal accountability. It's also a completely soulless science. Zeitgeist does not recognize the individual soul and human freedom and human expression. And so if you counter that with Atlas Shrugged, I understand Atlas Shrugged is also atheism-based, but it has more pieces of the puzzle together than Zeitgeist. Atlas Shrugged believes that you do have the freedom of the human and dignity of the human soul, and that we have sovereignty over our own individual selves, and that we don't have to carry along the moochers, looters, and bootlickers of society at the force of a gun. And the whole concept of Atlas Shrugged is that the producers and achievers go on strike, and the world falls into decay, which it will. And so when you stop rewarding the producers and achievers, and let's put religion aside for a second, although I do believe in the Bible and I believe in God and I'm a follower of Jesus Christ and His teachings. I'm not associated with any denomination whatsoever. I just simply follow the teachings and parables of Jesus Christ. But let's put that aside because most people can't handle that. As soon as I mention the word Jesus, I guarantee you about 50% of the people watching this video have turned it off and you don't want to hear it. So I'm trying to, relay some truth here, and I'm not going to not mention the name of Jesus, but let's put it aside for a second because I'm going to get another piece of truth into your head. Atlas Shrugged, believes that the producers and achievers that do things in this world, in this physical world, have the right for the fruits of their labor. They believe in personal, private property. They believe that if you work the land, you have the rights to the fruit of the land, and that the moochers, looters, and bootlickers, and the people who are political scum and political looters cannot come in and take away from you. And see, if you stop rewarding the producers and achievers of the world, they will stop producing and achieving, and things will start to decay. Just like when you saw that big old plane hit another plane, and you're going to start to see more plane crashes. You're going to start to see, it takes men and women of competent minds to make the world run. And if you stop rewarding them for being competent and you reward instead the moochers, looters, and bootlickers and the rap artists and the basketball players and the baseball players and the entertainment, and you stop rewarding the people of competent minds, then, they will not be encouraged to continue to be competent, and they will not be encouraged to continue to work harder than everybody else and to make things run, and so you're going to see a decay of society. And sanction of the victim, that is an incredibly important concept, because basically what it says is, if you see an organization that is destroying you and the people that you love, then you should not support that organization. An example would be Planned Parenthood trying to encourage abortions. Let's use an example. If I was a black man, I know that's hard to imagine. Let's imagine for a second I was a black man. Do you know Planned Parenthood is the most racist organization in the world? Margaret Sanger wrote a letter to Procter and Gamble, and the Gamble guy of Procter and Gamble. She wrote a letter and said it must never get out that our target is, the minority racists, and that the purpose of Planned Parenthood is to clean the racists. And so if I was a black man, I would be aware of Planned Parenthood, and I would never give abortion clinics my sanction. I wouldn't give them my approval. But what has Barack Obama done? He has given abortion. He's one of the most pro-abortion presidents you've ever seen. When they put that billboard up, the most dangerous place for an African American is in the mother's womb, Al Sharpton came out and spoke against it because he didn't want to hear about stopping abortion. Right? He considered it offensive. Matter of fact, Al Sharpton made one of the stupidest comments I've ever heard any black man make, or any man make of any color. He said, "You don't have the right to offend us." Well, that we live in America, and the First and the Second Amendments are not just a good idea, they are the law. We absolutely have the right to offend people. I get offended every day as a Christian by the crap I see on YouTube. I don't even watch television anymore, but just the stuff I see on YouTube offends me. So just because Al Sharpton's black doesn't give him the right to say you don't have the right to offend us. No, we have the right to offend people in America. It's called freedom of speech, and I plan on expressing my freedom of speech. But see, Atlas Shrugged is pro-individualism. It's pro-human spirit. It's pro-freedom, right? And you need that as a stepping stone, in order to have a society where the people that produce and achieve can be rewarded for their achievements. Now, people will say, well, we've already tried that. It's called capitalism, and it's failed miserably. Let's see how much time I got. Okay, I'm only 12 minutes. Okay. They will say it's failed miserably. You're arguing for a system that's already failed. Rudy, you're way behind the times. Why are you arguing for capitalism? It's failed. You need to get it through your thick skull, the Zeitgeist people, that capitalism has not failed us. That the scenarios that are described in the book Atlas Shrugged have came about, and the moochers, the looters, the bootlickers, the political scum, the people who do things by favor have won the day. They are in charge of America, and they're pretty much in charge of the world, and they are ruining the capitalistic system that made America great. I do believe that all things are possible through the grace of God, and that I'm not going to ever give up. So therefore I don't give up. But they have driven this country so far off track that we will need a reset of the system, and we will need a crash of the economic system in order to unpollute our money supply, because the moochers, looters, and bootlickers have stolen, raped, and pillaged so much wealth from this country that we will need a reset so that true producers and achievers can rise to the top again, and we can have men and women of real competence and real education and real experience run the show again. But instead we have people that know how to make favors. We know how they can work political deals. They can manipulate the government. When government and big business gets together and they work the system so that the true producers and achievers are just taxed upon and taxed upon and taxed upon, that's exactly the scenario that Atlas Shrugged talks about. And it isn't that it's pro-big government, it's pro-big company. Atlas Shrugged is not pro-big government and big company. Atlas Shrugged is pro-individual achievement. It's individual property rights. It's saying that if I work on something, if I go out into a field and I farm it, right, and I produce a crop, that crop is mine. And what I do with it is my own dang business. I'm the one who put all the work into creating it, and that government coming or my neighbors coming and taking it because they're starving to death, that's simply not right. Now, as a Christian man, if I go out and work a crop, and I work a farm and I create a crop, and I want to give it out of the goodness of my heart to my neighbor who's starving, and I want to teach him how to grow his own crop at the same time, and I want to be ethical and biblical about it, that's my right, and that's what I should do as a Christian man. But I would say that in a society, a true free society, if I wasn't a Christian man and I wanted to keep it all for myself, right? Let's just assume for a second I was not a Christian man, and I worked the land, and I, developed the crop, and I produced it all, and I got a big old crop, but my neighbor's starving to death. And the government says, I got to give some of mine to him because he's starving. Nope, you don't have to do it. Let him starve to death. Let him starve to death. He had the same opportunity to work the land that I did. He had the same opportunity. And that's why we need a free and equitable and balanced system. But I know the system is screwed up, and that when a system gets so screwed up, it turns honest men into dishonest men. And that's why you're going to see more and more crime. Because people who would normally be honest in a system where they could work hard and produce for their families, they can't do it anymore without selling out. And let me say this in closing. Oh my goodness, I'm over 15 minutes. Take care, everyone.